Hello guys. So this video series is about my journey of building an AI startup. So I just wanted to capture the important moments of this task that I've embarked upon. So this is a day zero of this whole journey, and I want to be able to build an MVP by the end of about 10 to 15 days. And in this day zero video, what I wanted to talk about was what is the idea about, and how are we going to build an MVP. And yeah, so without further ado, let's dive right into it. Just a brief intro on why we are doing what we're doing. So, each time a technological disruption happens, it creates a new market, right? So, when steam engine came about, of course, the factories came about, and then the trains came about, the whole supply chain changed, everything changes. Similarly, when internet came, lots of different companies came up, e-commerce started, and education started to happen online. Lots of things started to change. Similarly, when smartphones came about, digital payments, those apps, and so all those things came out to be. Is the recent developments in LLM, is it on the same scale in terms of the revolutionary shift that happens? So I think it is. On what levels it is going to interact with us, it's all going to change, right? So earlier, when the ML models were not so much developed, then we used to just talk in terms of rules and just introductions to and fro, just that. But when MLM models came about, we had some bit of recommendation system came about, and then some fraud detection, some here and there things started to happen. Like if you take Instagram, then of course the recommendation system is something that is there. If you look at say e-commerce, then you have search results and how to. Then if you look at Google, then you have some NLP features. If you look at some SaaS product, then again some more of chatbots and NLP features. But those were actually not so advanced. But if you have seen the chat GPT being able to give such coherent responses to the questions, then you must be knowing that something new and something very special has come out. Okay, so what are LLMs basically? So LLMs stand for large language models. So what are large language models? So every human mind is a language model. Whenever a teacher is saying something that when after listening to first 5 words, sixth word automatically comes into our mind, right? When a teacher talks about how algebra is going to help in your, so we automatically think he's talking about exams. That is going to be the next word. So similarly, a large language model is not only able to predict just the word after it, it is able to understand the whole context and give out a coherent response, which can basically complete the prompt that you had given. Okay, is ChatGPT an LLM? The answer is no. It's not just an LLM. It's basically an LLM enhanced by reinforcement learning based human feedback system. What it means is that we incentivize, we instruct the model to do things in a certain way. Like for example, if I ask an LLM or any large model to basically to complete this prompt, what is France's largest city? So an LLM would complete it as, what is India's largest city? What is Germany's largest city? Something like that. So what we actually want is to answer for this model, for this algorithm, to answer the question, and not just follow the pattern and just want to follow the patterns of the question. We want the algorithm to answer those questions. So we'll have to instruct it that you're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to answer the question. You're supposed to when somebody asks for bullet points, you have to give bullet points. When somebody asks for a code block, then you look at the history that they have talked about you in Python. So give the code in Python language. So something like that. So you need to feed all those things into it, and then with all the knowledge of the world that it has and the instructions that what to do when when you are asked to react in a certain way, it should follow a certain format. Okay, so yeah, so okay, now what are the capabilities of ChatGPT? The capabilities are, first of all, number one is inference. So suppose earlier you had to build a model for text classification. You had to build a model for suppose language translation. So there used to be different models, and those model development used to take a lot of time. Now what you've got is a super strong ML model having capabilities like topic modeling, universal translation, sentiment analysis, tag prediction, everything just at your hand. Okay, so then you have got another capability, which is transforming. You can convert a text from any format to another, right? You can convert a text from one language to another. You can convert a text from say XML to HTML, normal text to JSON, something like that. You can also ask the ChatGPT to grammatically correct the text, to spell corrector tests. You can do a lot of things. You can universally, it's a universal parser basically. So given a text, extract all the different topics and put them into a JSON format. It can do all sort of parsing. Then you have text to ML model to image charts. Like if you ask how is the prediction going to look like for the coming months for a certain product sales, so it can build an ML model based on the historical data by itself and produce a chart and give you configurable turnkeys. So it can do all of those things for you. Also on another kind of task, which is expanding. What is expanding? You have a certain kind of knowledge, a certain kind of a broad knowledge base, and you want to use that knowledge base to solve particular things. Like you can use your knowledge base, or you can use your Google Mails and Google Calendar to to fix an appointment for you, or you can have a personalized agent for you, or you can build an online order taker for you. So it can use the knowledge base to do something. Okay. Also you can use the knowledge base for search enhancement. So we'll talk about this more in the e-commerce section, but yeah, okay. Also it is great at summarizing. So you can ask the ChatGPT to to say things like this is the text and I want you to give me an answer in not more than 50 words, or just 3 sentences, or 280 characters for a tweet. So all those things. And also next comes the most surprising, path breaking, and in fact I had not the magnitude of this particular thing had not dawned upon me since till very late. But yeah, this thing is called AGI agents. So not AGI as in artificial general intelligence, but sort of a baby AGI kind of thing, which is also a Python module launched by some Japanese guy. So what basically it is, so right now we are instructing the model to do something, right? AGI agent is something like you just give it a broad text and it will form it. I mean, you give a broad objective to the agent, like I want to build a report on this particular topic. So it will by itself look for all the relevant data set, build ML models, build all the charts. Whenever it has to use some Google APIs, Google search APIs, it will use those. Whenever it has to compute, it can hit the Mathematica API. Whenever it needs an intervention from humans, it can ask UL. So it is some sort of a very generally intelligent agent, which is not just carrying out the instruction that you had given them, but also just from a broad objective, it is able to devise those instructions for itself, and it has the capability to use the tools, and so it's phenomenal. It's just amazing. So yeah, now how these capabilities are going to transform all these industries. So e-commerce, if you look at right now, the search on e-commerce is very broken, I would say. Like something, you would not type something like show me a red shoe for wearing to parties. You just say shoes or red shoe. You just change the filters according to your prices and everything, but yeah, you can't do more than that. But with ChatGPT, this whole search is going to be fixed. It would happen in Netflix and Amazon and everywhere. This search is going to change. Also, we would have automatic generation of catalogs. Very simple. So this would be very a very straightforward use case of this ChatGPT. That give him some information of the product. ChatGPT can give a very coherent description of the whole product. So yeah, then you have got a very personalized and intelligent recommendation. That also would be coming up. Then personalized chatbots, market trend reports for different businesses, virtual 3D fitting, like you can have a virtual reality where you can try clothes, etc. So yeah, so all these things come under e-commerce. In edtech, what all is going to happen is that all the content generation can be automated. Then personalized learning bots could be made to figure out what are the weaknesses of a particular child and give him tasks according to that. And something like an instructor who is the ChatGPT could become, or any application could become extremely good at understanding weaknesses of a child and giving them inputs wherever required, and helping him learn better. Intelligent tutoring, question answer support, any kind of questions that a student asks, it not only gives the right answer, but it also corrects your answer step by step, tells you what mistakes you're doing, what concepts are you lacking in. So all these things can be done. Then comes fintech sector, where you can have AI driven chatbots which can handle customer queries, provide support to account management, transactions, and other financial services. So you can have document automation. So you have loan agreements and contracts and everything. You can automate the generation. You can monitor the regulatory changes, whatever are happening, and and whenever some new changes are happening, you are already updated with that, and the system is also kept in sync with that. So all those things could be done. Then you got NLP for finance. LLMs can process unstructured financial data such as news articles, social media posts. So based on that, it can suggest you stocks to pick, or mutual funds, or all those things, market related forecasting. Okay, now again in medical you can have intelligent bots and documentation, summarization, and all those things could be done. Again, if you look at CRMs and sales, basically SaaS sector, as it is personally as it is right now, you can have customer support bots basically, which could identify the tone of the customer, and give suitable responses to them. You can have a bot which is able to handle a query which was not possible to be handled by, because of the complexity of the query. Earlier the systems were not able to handle that. A human has to sit behind that service. Now a chatbot can handle it. You have got product documentation and knowledge base, so that whenever a user or customer is asking for a question, you don't need somebody emailing him, understanding the question and then responding him. You can just have a chatbot which already has got the knowledge from the solution articles and everything, and then it can give out the responses. Then you can have in a sales SaaS service, you can have personalized sales pitches for depending on the client. You can have marketing campaigns, promotional content based on customer data, etc. So if you look at media and entertainment, journalism, so is of course a sector which is going to be revolutionized by ChatGPT and LLMs. Content generation, you got intelligent searches and everything coming about. Also you got personalized content recommendations. Yeah, okay. And as we talked about the BBAGI or the Omni agents, yeah, that is also going to be a major frontier. Now, what is the problem that I wanted to work on was that as you might be seeing that in a lot of places there are two things which are happening. One is that our bot is not only able to understand the general data on which it is trained, but also if we can impart the knowledge about our own personalized data, then it can handle any concern that we have, or it can leverage our data set to do multiple things, right? So this can be done for both businesses and for customers. I mean, for both B2B and the B2C cases. The challenge would be to create a chat-based workspace where, on receiving the user input, it would generate the desired response. Now, it would utilize the internal databases. For businesses, it would be, say, BigQuery, AWS S3, which would have reviews, business reviews, or which could have transaction-related data, and it's able to understand those that data set, and do any task downstream on that. You can build a analytics report based on that. You can build ML models on that. You can build API endpoints based on that. So you can do a lot of things. You can also output personal report, as far as personal B2C case is concerned. You can have your own financial report. You can have your astrological report. You can have your personal development reports. So there are ample, and there are like unimaginable possibilities which can come out to be. So how I am going to go about designing this? So I was basically thinking of designing a chat workspace where it would accept the user input, okay, and it would identify what all tools it has to use, like Google search, or the LLMs itself, or the human intervention, or some other API, and it would use the data access that has been given to it, and it would generate the prediction for us. So output format could be a text. Suppose if I ask the bot to generate a list of tasks for me, or list of spots to visit when I'm going to some city, or plan out an itinerary for me. So the output format in that case is going to be just text. If we wanted to schedule an appointment, then it's a task execution kind of thing. If we wanted to create some kind of an API for some other downstream use cases, then that could also be done. Now the question is, why now? First of all, this solution addresses the market needs. It's a new thing, and the market needs it. Everybody needs it, so that's why. Number two is that it would give me a valuable learning experience to try out different things. So yeah, and third is like, what is the opportunity size? So opportunity size is difficult to estimate, but I found two ways to estimate it. So right now the total AI contribution to the global GDP is about $50 billion, growing at about 40% compounded annually, and the use case that we have, building chatbots and and these agents, at least have to comprise 10% of that total chunk. So that is about $5 billion. And also the total SaaS business globally is worth $150 billion. If you look at the calculation from a different way to triangulate, then half of that is comprised by SMBs, and which is $75 billion, and the AI solution should account for about 10% of the total value. So TM comes out to be about $7.5 billion from that calculation also. So it is going to be roughly on the order of magnitude of about $1 to $10 billion. Okay. Why does the target user group need the solution? So first of all, these things are very it's going to be game changing. So all these points like time and cost savings, improved customer experience, around the clock availability. You can scale it as much as you want for all many customers. You can personalize it to you can personalize endlessly. You can handle all the languages. You can automate, integrate with a lot of tools. So yeah, there are lots of different possibilities that can be taken care with this. And what are the alternatives? What is the current state of market? What is your target market and target users? So right now, as we think, we are going to target SMBs who don't necessarily have a tech team for doing all of this. So we are going to target them, and also the current solutions may what is lacking. So I think right now it's a fresh offering worldwide, so it's in high demand across industries. So I feel that this is the time to do this. Okay, so what would be the MVP look like? So MVP would look like, first of all, we'll have to have a landing page, and then a login facility. Then there should be a way for a user to upload a data set with a prompt on what the data set is about. Now our app should be intelligently able to parse the data set in backend, create a metadata from there, create embeddings from the text data after chunking it, or for a normal data frame or a CSV file, it should store it, and again create metadata according for that. And when a user asks a questions, we should be able to handle it with a suitable reply, leveraging the uploaded data set. Okay, which can be text in any format. I mean, we can reply in any format as the user has asked us to. And now, how you define whether the MVP has worked or not? So I think first of all, the MVP should be functional. That is our only target. So let's see. I sort of wanted to have some timelines regarding this. So these are the timelines. So yeah, this was what I wanted to share for today. And yeah, that's all for today. Any questions if you have, you can please leave the comments here, and you can reach out to me on my social media channels. So I'm giving out the links in the description below. So yeah, thanks a lot.